We had no idea at the time where we were going with this or how large it would ever be. I'm very pleased that these coaches that I see nowadays have the same attitude and the same will to make the sport what it is. It's good for all the children. When you drive by these fields in the West Seattle and Seattle area, you see hundreds and thousands of kids now playing. It's just amazing, and it makes my heart feel great. I was born and raised in Vancouver, British Columbia, and at that time we had very competitive soccer leagues, and I was able to start as a 10-year-old and continue on through till I was 19, playing in the junior program up there. Very good soccer and good coaching, good refereeing, and lots of training. In 1968, our three sons had grown up and wanted to become involved in junior soccer. Of course, at that time, there was no place for them to go. But we did have other friends that were here in West Seattle, and they were interested in the game the same as I was. We put the thing together at our home in the Admiral District and started formulating teams and getting it underway. The first three teams we had in West Seattle was a U8, a U10, and a U12. And Marge and I had a son play on each team at that time. Starting in 1970, the club grew to 17 teams. By 1975, it was up to 30 teams, and it blossomed from there. We had a great support from all the mums and dads who enjoyed the game and were quick with learning the game, and this helped make the success of the West Seattle Soccer Club. The club can be proud of the quality of players they produced over the years. Our son Alan went on to play for Chico State University and won a national title there. He returned to Seattle and played for the Sounders of the old North American Soccer League. Our son Monty was a strong player for the club and played all 4 years for West Seattle High. Nancy McAlister was an All-American and two-time State Player of the Year when she led Lakeside High to 3 state titles. She was the captain of the U17 national team and a 4-year starter for the powerhouse Notre Dame and UCLA programs. Nancy and her sister Carmen were coached by their mother Karen. Carmen was also a title winner at Lakeside and later the captain of national champion Tufts University. She has returned to West Seattle and become a second-generation coach with the club. Ian Russell went on to play for the USL Sounders in the late 1990s. He won 2 MLS Cups with the San Jose Earthquakes, and after his playing days was a longtime assistant coach with the team. In 2017, he assembled the roster for the Earthquakes' new USL affiliate in Reno, where he is now the head coach. Our son Norm played on the West Seattle Hammers U14 team. This was the first West Seattle team to win a state championship. A teammate of his was Jimmy McAlister, one of the most heralded players our region has produced. He went on to play for the Sounders of the North American Soccer League and was called up to play for the U.S. men's national team.
I started playing soccer in 1971 in West Seattle. One of the reasons was I went to Our Lady of Guadalupe High School, or grade school, which is in West Seattle, and they had CYO teams, and I just loved the game. I fell in love with it, and some gentlemen got together, including Joe Smith and others, and started West Seattle Youth Soccer Association. The second team was the West Seattle Hammers that I played on, coached by Denzel Miskell, and fortunately we were good enough to win the state championship against Lake Hills the first year. So that was my first experience, and Bobby Cowan and I, another friend from Our Lady of Guadalupe, were younger kids, and we got to play with the team, and it was just a fantastic experience. And our coach, Denzel Miskell, always made it fun. We were successful, we won games, but I can tell you what, we always had a great time. Well, through West Seattle, I was lucky enough to play at a high level, and there's some really good players. And our coach, Denzel Miskell, went on to the men's league, and some of the guys pushed me when I was 14 to go play in the men's league to find other type competition, and it wasn't really a plan, but I got to play with the men, and I learned a great deal about the game and about the game with a bunch of ethnic players. We played the Hungarians, the Seattle Greeks, the Norwegians, the Danes, and it was a real education into the game. I got taken by the Sounders when I was 18, and I went to the Sounders, and lucky enough, I was able to play quite a few games. I was fortunate, like, you need to have a break as a player. I had good support behind me, and the guy that was supposed to be starting that year was a guy named John McLaughlin. He got hurt, so I got my chance in 1977 and had a pretty decent career after that, but I owe a lot of it to the people in West Seattle, and I always remember the games we had as kids that gave me a real love for the game, because when I started playing professional soccer for the Seattle Sounders, I made $800 a month. So trust me, it wasn't for the money, it was for the love of the game, and I think West Seattle Youth Soccer Association gave me that love of the game.
One of my goals in coaching youth soccer is giving back to my community and also paying back to wonderful coaches I had as a kid. I like to create community with the sport that I love, to introduce parents and grandparents to a new chapter in their kids' lives, and to connect them with their neighbors. For some of the parents, soccer wasn't around for them when they were growing up, so they too are learning a new sport. I'm grateful for the many volunteers over the past 50 years who helped establish our soccer club, who taught the game, who set the tone for how we want to coach the kids, helped train the officials, provided beautiful uniforms, and even organized a cleat exchange program. For what the club charges and what the families get in return, I think it's a tremendous value. I feel the club has given us a wonderful stage for our kids to play and grow.
So the defense has to be talking to each other.
This is our 12th season together as Blue Thunder, playing spring and fall with West Seattle Soccer Club. We have a core group of kids who've played together since they were 5, and we've added a player or two each season as our roster's grown. We're like a big family now. My coaching philosophy is pretty simple. We're here to have fun, but also to practice key life skills like taking care of each other. If a teammate falls down at practice, the players know they have to check on their teammate, make sure he's okay. And after so many seasons together, the players know each other's strengths and tendencies, and I think that shows on the field in their passing and also in their defensive coverage of each other. Our 3-team rules are also pretty simple. 1, be a good teammate. This isn't an individual sport. 2, be a good sport. And 3, have fun. We've been known to have dance breaks at practice. In this way, I think the Blue Thunder players are good stewards of the club's values.
We're back here, and you try to lunge for the ball, like that. A lot of times you're going to hit it with your toe. You got to get going here, but...
So growing up, I played soccer at a high level, and it was without a doubt my favorite sport. I played soccer all the way through college, and I continued on and coached at the select level up in Bellingham. So when my family moved to West Seattle a few years later, there was no question that when my daughters decided they wanted to play soccer, that I was going to be their coach. So my philosophy in coaching has always been to focus more on the team and not so much the individual. A couple examples of that are how we really focus on building out of the back and building up the line with passing instead of dribbling, and also really focusing on positioning on the field. And the girls seem to be getting it at this point, and they are having a great time, and they just get better and better, and it's been a joy to watch.
Youth soccer has been a passion of mine for over 20 years. I've been involved in the West Seattle Soccer Club as a coach, as a referee, and as an administrator. During that time, I found that coaches are the lifeblood of our program. But if you don't have a good qualified licensed ref on game day, your experience goes way down. That means the coach has to ref. When the coach refs, he can't coach. If a team parent has to step in, he or she is not licensed. A good qualified ref makes the game day experience for all involved go way up. So we had the same problem as any other clubs in our area, where we had about a 50% attrition rate due to referees getting yelled at by coaches or by the sideline on the field. And then we also found that getting a ref from the clinic, a new licensing clinic, to the field was another big battle we had to attack. So the West Seattle Soccer Club decided to make some changes. We sat down with the referees to help them register. We looked at other referee chapters around the area, made sure that we were paying competitively. The big differentiators, though, we decided to do as a club was we wanted to pay the assigner fee for the ref. So when the referee sees an amount for an age group, that's the amount that they get paid. They don't get anything taken out of it. So as a ref comes onto the field for the first time, they're a little bit sometimes scared, unsure. I'll make sure that I get out there for new refs, or make sure a licensed ref or another board member is available for that. And get there early, answer the questions before the game, watch them during the first half, give them some feedback at halftime, have them implement some things like loud whistle, loud voice, clear hand signals, and proper attire, including a tucked-in jersey. The referees, especially the parents of the young referees, really appreciate that they know we have their back in whatever goes on the field.
Reffing for me is all about creating a great player experience. Keeping the players safe and having them play within the rules is really important, but ultimately for me, if I've done a great job as a referee on a game, everybody leaves that field happy, having had a good time. Likewise, coaching is all about creating the great player experience. I've had the fortune to be able to coach my daughter from kindergarten through high school, and the bond that's created through that is incredible. I'd recommend it for anybody. Being able to foster a passion for the game and have the players play through their high school years and hopefully into adulthood is priceless. So just like refereeing and coaching is about creating a great player experience, board service is much the same. Ultimately, our program, which is all about delivering the best player experience, is delivered by our coaches. And we could not do this without our parent volunteers. But behind all that is the board. And the West Seattle Soccer Club board is made up of an incredible group of very talented and incredibly dedicated volunteers who help make sure that these programs are delivered on a weekly basis. The board works hard, working with our governing bodies, our association, our club partners, city parks department, for instance, and it's working there with vendors to make sure that we can have access to field resources, great equipment, and scheduling games and referees to make sure that our program is the best youth soccer experience around. We're really working on 50 years of great history, where this club has started with 3 teams 50 years ago to now working this fall season with 159 teams and 1,768 players enjoying the game. And it's really satisfying to see that growth and development, making sure that we can prepare for the next 50 years and be good stewards of the resources that we have and really foster a passion and love for the game in the kids playing from kindergarten to adulthood.